Abilify helps control symptoms of bipolar mania.
Ask your doctor about Effexor XR.
Paxil, the most prescribed medication of its kind.
Prozac Weekly is here. Zoloft, a prescription.
Seraphim.
PMDD.
And
Os psiquiatras e companhias farmacêuticas não fazem só propaganda enganosa das drogas psiquiátricas aos seus colegas que as prescrevem. Eles também publicitam diretamente ao consumidor final, você, contando que você entre nos seus gabinetes e exija uma prescrição.
The direct-to-consumer advertising is instilling the notion in every human being that something is mentally wrong, something needs correction. That drives people to see a psychiatrist to help to mitigate this by dispensing the medication, by dispensing a drug that they have had pushed on them on countless television ads, countless magazine ads, and countless print ads that say, hey, there's something wrong with you, go get help for it.
Em mais lado algum, há uma explosão de publicidade mais óbvia, diretamente para o consumidor, do que na televisão. Nem sempre foi assim. Até recentemente, o publicitar drogas psiquiátricas na TV era severamente restrito. Mas em 1997, a FDA foi persuadida a relaxar as suas regras sobre o publicitar nos meios de comunicação, numa violação direta do artigo 10 de um tratado internacional assinado nas Nações Unidas.
Every 5 minutes there's a new drug ad. And this is not by accident, this is cold, canny, scientific design.
Ads are fundamentally of two types. One type of ad is a effort to try to get the patient to take the drug company's drug.
Abilify helps control symptoms of bipolar mania and reduce...
But then the second kind of direct-to-consumer advertising is the you're sick and you didn't know it advertising.
You could be suffering from generalized anxiety disorder.
Because they want to create sales, so what they're going to do is tell people, do you have these symptoms? Do you have this disease? Do you have this particular condition?
But they hit it so hard on television that people say, ask your doctor, ask your doctor. Every commercial is a referral to the doctor. See, they're working for each other.
Ask your doctor about Cymbalta. Depression hurts. Cymbalta can help.
I can go to my doctor and say, here are my symptoms, and walk out with the prescription I want. I can ask for a drug by name, and most of the time I'll be given the drug. So basically I'm my own doctor.
The industry defends what it's doing by saying this is some kind of public health education campaign. And I'm sorry, I think if you go to an advertising agency, you're advertising.
Desde o início, o publicitar drogas psiquiátricas na televisão tem sido extremamente bem sucedido. Só nos primeiros 3 anos, as vendas das drogas psiquiátricas aumentaram em 250%. Com as receitas a atingirem agora níveis recorde, a indústria farmacêutica gasta 2,9 milhares de milhões de dólares anualmente só na propaganda televisiva. E uma vez que isto conduz pessoas para os gabinetes dos psiquiatras, elas podem ser viciadas a usar outra estratégia de marketing, amostras gratuitas.
The industry is willing to give out millions of dollars worth of free samples because it generates billions of dollars in sales.
You want a prescription and you want Prozac written forever as a maintenance therapy. So you establish that with some free Prozac up front.
Here, take this sample, it doesn't cost you anything. And then if you like it or if it seems to work, then we'll make a prescription, but you're going to have to pay for that prescription. The sample is free. So it's really a marketing technique.
They got a cash cow. Zero refill means you've got to go back to the doctor for another consultation, for another subscription, and it just goes forever. This is business. This is money.
Algum marketing diretamente ao consumidor está camuflado como informação pública. Os psiquiatras aparecem regularmente nos meios de comunicação a avisar o público sobre as últimas epidemias de doenças mentais e a vender os seus últimos avanços. Eles escrevem artigos colocados nos jornais e revistas que levam adiante as suas campanhas de consciencialização da saúde mental. Mesmo grupos de advocacia dos pacientes que dizem oferecer informação imparcial sobre as drogas psiquiátricas são, afinal, após uma inspeção mais restrita, grupos dianteiros geridos por psiquiatras e financiados pela indústria farmacêutica.
They were started specifically by the industry themselves, and the public isn't informed of that. And it's basically a great big lie to the public that they think they're going to a charitable organization that has their best interest at heart.
Por exemplo, Children and Adults with Attention Deficit Disorder, ou CHAD, o maior e mais bem financiado grupo dianteiro para os produtores de drogas estimulantes, Stephen Plog é um antigo executivo da CHAD.
When I became the CHAD coordinator for Las Vegas, they gave me a manual, and in it said, we want to provide unbiased information to help and support people who have ADD. For the next 30 days, we put 22 parents and their kids on a program with lab tests to find out what their causes were, eliminated their causes, they got prescription-free, medication-free, side effect-free, and they got better with their self-esteem, and they became actually happier, healthier, and more successful. Chad found out about this, called me up and says, we do not allow people to talk about nutrition in any of our seminars. We only prescribe going to a psychiatrist who will only prescribe drugs and therapy. So they said you can no longer work with us, and they fired me for simply recommending that parents go get a lab test, find out what the causes are, and eliminate the causes. They do not allow that. They only allow medication and psychiatric treatment.
Os grupos de advocacia dos pacientes psiquiátricos também promovem tratamento de drogas psicotrópicas ao publicar amplamente inquéritos de marketing disfarçados de questionários médicos.
You can take a survey of maybe 16 questions. And if you are a normal human being who's lived through ranges of emotions of normal life experience, if you've known the exhilaration of the birth of a child, a niece, a nephew, and the devastation of a divorce and the loss of dreams, and answer honestly to those questions, you will diagnose yourself as bipolar. And the instructions that come back along with the diagnosis or the warning that you're probably bipolar say, print this out and take it to your doctor.
E quão simples é para alguém entrar na internet, responder a questões típicas da vida e ser dado uma desordem psiquiátrica. Aqui estão alguns voluntários escolhidos aleatoriamente, pessoas de todas as idades que levam vidas normais.
Do you feel sad, blue, unhappy, or down in the dumps? Sometimes.
I've had periods of great optimism and other periods of equally great pessimism. Yeah, that happens a little bit.
I get tired for no reason. Sometimes.
My life is pretty full. Nah, not really.
For no apparent reason, I sometimes have been very angry or hostile.
It's hard for me to concentrate on reading.
I am restless and can't keep still.
My heart beats faster than usual.
I have trouble sleeping.
Shortness of breath. Gained weight. Trembling hands.
I have an idea that most of these are going to be sometimes.
Everyone has. As in everybody?
Somewhat.
Somewhat true.
Just a little.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Alright, my score totaled 42. Bipolar disorder, moderate to severe symptoms. Wow.
The answer reflects on the presence of depressive symptoms.
Currently suffering from an anxiety disorder.
I may be suffering from bipolar 1.
Minimal to mild depression.
An obsessive compulsive disorder.
Guess that means I'm a psycho.
Guess I'll go to a psych. Try to see if I could work it out, get some meds or something.
No total, foi atribuído a 50% destas pessoas um diagnóstico psiquiátrico e instruídos para receberem tratamento. Com esta medida, metade da população dos Estados Unidos, cerca de 150 milhões de americanos, poderiam ser classificados como mentalmente doentes.
Now you have a direct line of consumers just walking in with a little pre-survey that says that they potentially can have bipolar, ADHD, stress, anxiety, any of those categories, and they just need to take this assessment tool and say, okay, that basically that is what you have, and here's your drug.
E os psiquiatras estão agora a insistir que tal ferramenta de avaliação é obrigatória. Peguem no Teen Screen. Sob o disfarce de um programa de prevenção do suicídio, são administrados testes de saúde mental nas escolas para diagnosticar e drogar crianças. Crianças como Chelsea Rhodes, que uma manhã foi para a escola como uma adolescente normal e regressou a casa com um diagnóstico psiquiátrico.
The Rhodes family in Indiana, their young girl went to school one day, and all of a sudden they told her they were taking her into her room, and they move her into her room and give her the 10-minute teen screen test. And shortly after taking the test, she's pulled aside in the hallway and she's told she has two problems, basically two mental problems. One, obsessive compulsive disorder, and social anxiety disorder.
Her parents were stunned, dumbfounded. They didn't know the teen screen was going to screen their child. They had not been asked permission.
The people at school had told her that she was mentally ill with these two conditions based off of a computer test that took her 10 minutes to answer. One of the questions was worded if Chelsea went out a lot. She answered no. We'd ask her why she answered that way. She said, because Mom, you and Dad don't allow us to go out on school nights. I have to be home to do my homework and take care of our household chores. The other question was, do you ever feel nervous or anxious when you're in front of a group of your friends or peers? Chelsea answered yes. She explained to us that because when she has to stand up in front of a group of people and give a book report in one of her classes, she's very nervous. You know, I'm 43 years old and I'm nervous in front of every one of you today, but that doesn't make me mentally ill.
I absolutely believe that the survey for Teen Screen was intentionally structured to flag as many children as possible as having a possible mental health problem.
E quem criou o Teen Screen e escreveu o seu inquérito? O Dr. David Schaffer, psiquiatra com extensos laços à indústria farmacêutica. O questionário de Schaffer é tudo exceto científico. No estudo que ele mesmo conduziu, Schaffer admitiu que 84% de todos os estudantes tinham sido falsamente etiquetados como suicidas. Mas o que não foi admitido é o quão traumáticas as consequências podem ser. Alaya Gleason tinha apenas 11 anos quando preencheu questionário na sua escola secundária no Texas.
It was 7th grade, and they had all the girls go into the cafeteria because they said that a lot of girls have depression, so they was working on some depression screen.
Next thing I know, there's those middle schools tell my husband now that CPS is there at the school taking Alaya because she's suicidal.
I'm like, suicide? I'm not trying to kill myself. I love myself. I've always loved myself.
So I don't know if she was even at the school or they'd already taken her away.
When they took Alaya, my girls and I, we didn't sleep for about a good 3 days. For the first 3 days, because my house was empty without her.
And they was making me sign papers talking about if you don't take these medicines, you can't see your parents. So they was telling me, you know, if you take your medicine, you can see your parents.
My daughter was on 22 different types of medication that this one psychiatrist gave her.
They drugged me up so bad that they said they had to drag me. And I used to wonder how I got to my room.
When I saw for myself what they were giving her and how much and how often, I just thought, they're gonna kill this child. And the parents were helpless.
Then after a while, that's when I was just like, I'm not about to take no more medicine until I call my parents. And then that's when they was like, okay, well, we're gonna give it to you anyways. They restrained me and shot me up. I was in 4 points. They laid me out on my stomach with my feet like this and tied me up.
One day, they must have put her in about 12 restraints in one day.
They said I was restrained about 70 or 80 times. After a couple of months, they was like, you know, your parents don't want to see you. They don't want to talk to you or anything. So I was really hurt.
We tried everything. Nobody know. We didn't know what hospital. We didn't even know where they taking her.
After 2 weeks, you're supposed to hear, or you're supposed to be able to see your child. They didn't give me that. I didn't see Alaya till 6 months later.
But I was a good child. I didn't deserve for that. And he messed up a lot of things. To this day, I still wish that I could just go back and be like, man, you know what, I'm not even gonna take the test.
I would always tell every parent I see, they was ask me, don't do the team screening, because it will mess up your family.
Os programas de questionários psiquiátricos, tais como estes, são rápidos a crescer. Só o Teen Screen está a examinar atualmente centenas de milhares de crianças escolares em mais de 500 escolas americanas, em 43 estados.
Has nothing to do with helping kids, has nothing to do with mental health, has nothing to do with medicine. It has everything to do with the pushing of drugs.
So it presents itself as being a wonderful, altruistic program, whereas in fact, I believe its cold-blooded and cold-hearted intent is to recruit more children into the very subjective diagnoses of mental illness and to treat those kids with medication.
Mas a promoção de drogas psiquiátricas não acaba na sala de aula. A legislação foi colocada para examinar todos os cidadãos por doenças mentais, incluindo pacientes geriátricos, veteranos de guerra e mulheres grávidas, tudo a ser pago por si.
Psychiatrists benefit from both ends, from the pharmaceutical end for being paid to write the prescription, and then from the patient for being there to receive the prescription.
It's an industry that cannot allow the human condition to go unmedicated, and I think this is where the problem begins.
If everybody considers themselves to be sick in some way or more than one way, and that the only control, the only hope for their happiness is to be on pills for the rest of their lives, that's the goal.
The pharmaceuticals and the psychiatric community are in a cleanup, and that's what it's all about. It has nothing to do with helping our kids or, their mental health. It's all about money.
Atualmente, as companhias farmacêuticas gastam mais de 5,3 milhares de milhões de dólares em publicitar drogas psiquiátricas, quase 9 vezes mais do que a década passada. O resultado? As vendas de drogas psicotrópicas aumentaram para 80 milhares de milhões de dólares. E tudo enquanto os psiquiatras ignoram deliberadamente a vasta tragédia humana que estão a criar.